Tutankhamun. Ramses the Great. These are the names that echo through history, their monuments and treasures capturing the world's imagination. But Egypt's story is far older, far deeper, and filled with rulers whose legacies have been buried by time, erased by rivals, or overshadowed by brighter stars. From radical dreamers like Akhenaten, to powerful queens like Hatshepsut, from Nubian kings to forgotten generals who seized the throne, Egypt's history is a tapestry woven with Pharaohs history tried to forget. Tonight, we step beyond the golden mask and the towering statues, into the shadows of the Nile's forgotten rulers. This is their story. When people hear the word Pharaoh, two names usually rise to the surface: Tutankhamun, the boy king whose tomb dazzled the modern world, and Ramses II, the great warrior whose colossal statues still gaze down at us in silent majesty. Their fame is undeniable. Tutankhamun, though he ruled only briefly, captured the imagination of the 20th century when Howard Carter broke through the sealed doors of his untouched burial chamber in 1922. Ramses II, remembered as Ramses the Great, expanded Egypt's borders and built monuments that still dominate the Nile Valley. Yet Egypt's story stretches over 3 millennia, with more than 170 pharaohs. Behind the curtain of these household names lies a tapestry of rulers who shaped Egypt's destiny in quieter, often forgotten ways. Their legacies remain hidden in broken temples, half-erased inscriptions, and overlooked tombs. To know Egypt fully, we must look beyond the glare of the famous and listen to the whispers of the forgotten. Before Tutankhamun restored the old gods, his father Akhenaten had torn Egypt's traditions apart. Known as the heretic pharaoh, Akhenaten abandoned Amun, the chief deity of the Libyan priests, and raised Aten, the sun disk, to supreme power. He moved Egypt's capital to a new city, Akhenaten, modern Amarna, and transformed art into a style of startling realism. Yet Akhenaten's legacy is one of erasure. Later rulers despised his reforms. His name was hacked from monuments, his city abandoned, his memory condemned. For centuries, Akhenaten was a ghost in Egypt's history, his existence nearly erased by the very scribes who once honored him. Only in the 19th and 20th centuries did archaeologists uncover Amarna's ruins, piecing together the story of a radical dreamer who dared to reshape Egypt's soul. In a world dominated by male rulers, Hatshepsut rose as one of Egypt's most successful pharaohs. Officially a queen regent for her young stepson, Thutmose III, she declared herself pharaoh, donning the false beard and full regalia of kingship. Her reign was marked not by conquest, but by trade, peace, and monumental building. The magnificent mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri, carved into the cliffs of Luxor, stands as a testament to her vision. But after her death, Hatshepsut's memory suffered a strange fate. Her images were defaced, her name chiseled away, her statues toppled. Historians debate why. Perhaps Thutmose III sought to reclaim sole glory, or perhaps later rulers feared a woman's precedent on the throne. For centuries, her story was hidden until archaeologists uncovered her temple and restored her place in Egypt's pantheon of greatness. Between the old and new kingdoms, Egypt experienced centuries of turmoil. Civil wars, invasions, and drought weakened the land. Yet from this darkness rose forgotten rulers who rebuilt Egypt's strength. Kings like Mentuhotep II of the 11th dynasty reunited a fractured Egypt, bringing an end to the First Intermediate Period. His successors launched military campaigns into Nubia and the Levant, securing trade routes and resources. Unlike the golden grandeur of later pharaohs, these Middle Kingdom kings left subtler marks: administrative reforms, literature, and fortresses along Egypt's southern frontier. They laid the groundwork for the new kingdom's expansion, but their names, overshadowed by Ramses and Seti, rarely reached the public imagination. Tutankhamun's sudden death at a young age left a vacuum. Into that void stepped two men whose names history often passes over. An elderly courtier, took the throne and completed Tutankhamun's tomb. Some believe he played a shadowy role in the boy king's death, though the evidence remains debated. His rule was short, but his presence significant. He was the bridge between the Amarna chaos and the restoration of tradition. After came Horem, a general with no royal blood. Determined to restore order, he erased nearly all traces of the Amarna rulers, including Tutankhamun and rewrote history to legitimize his reign. Ironically, in erasing their legacies, he nearly erased his own. Yet Horem's reforms strengthened Egypt's institutions, setting the stage for the powerful 19th dynasty and Ramses the Great himself. Centuries later, in the 25th dynasty, Egypt experienced a remarkable reversal. It was ruled by pharaohs from Nubia, to the south. Kings like Pir and Taharqa rose from Kush and conquered Egypt, presenting themselves not as invaders but as restorers of true Egyptian tradition. They revived pyramid building, restored temples, and emphasized devotion to Amun. Yet their reigns were cut short by the Assyrian invasions, which swept through Egypt with brutal force. The Nubian dynasty retreated, leaving behind pyramids at El Karu and Nuri that still stand in Sudan. For generations, their rule was dismissed as foreign domination. Only recently have historians begun to appreciate the Nubian pharaohs as preservers of Egyptian identity during a turbulent age. Even less remembered are the Libyan pharaohs of the Third Intermediate Period. Originating from mercenary families who settled in Egypt, they rose to power when the central government weakened. Kings like Shoshenkai, mentioned in the Bible as Shishak, ruled with both Egyptian tradition and Libyan roots. They may not have built colossal temples like Ramses, but they kept Egypt alive during centuries of division. Their story reminds us that Egypt was never isolated, foreigners became Egyptians, and outsiders could wear the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. Walk through the ruins of Egypt and the forgotten pharaohs whisper through the cracks. In crumbling reliefs, half-erased names hint at rulers once proud. In remote tombs, undecorated chambers tell of short reigns cut down by illness or intrigue. Even in the Valley of the Kings, not every tomb has been opened. Who knows which forgotten pharaoh still waits beneath the sands? The glamour of Tutankhamun's treasures and the majesty of Ramses' statues are undeniable. But Egypt was more than its brightest stars. Its history was shaped by dozens of rulers who steered the ship of state through storms, rebuilt after collapse, and carried on traditions that lasted longer than any empire in human history. In the end, perhaps Egypt's forgotten pharaohs are not so forgotten after all. Their legacies survive in the temples they built, the reforms they made, the stories they inspired. Without Hatshepsut, Egypt would not have seen its age of prosperity. Without Horem, the chaos of Amarna might have swallowed the kingdom. Without the Nubian and Libyan dynasties, Egyptian culture might have faded centuries earlier. History often remembers the brightest flames. But it is the steady glow of the hidden lights, the rulers whose names rarely grace our textbooks, that sustained Egypt through 3,000 years of triumph and turmoil. And so, when we think of pharaohs, let us look not only to Tutankhamun's glittering mask or Ramses' towering statues, but also to the quieter, forgotten kings and queens who ensured that the Nile's legacy endures. Egypt's forgotten pharaohs remind us that history is never just about the most famous names. It is built on the victories and failures, the dreams and struggles of rulers who shaped their world even if their names were nearly erased from memory. If you enjoyed uncovering these hidden stories, make sure to like this video, share it with fellow history lovers, and subscribe for more journeys into the ancient past. Thank you for watching, and until next time, may the sands of history continue to reveal their secrets.